Hi everyone, very good evening and welcome back to Geeks for Geeks practice. Please give me a quick +1 in the chat if my voice is clearly audible to everyone and everything is working fine. Then I'll start off with this video as well. Okay, today's problem is very interesting and it's quite easy as well. So hi Rishit and hi everyone else as well. So you can hit the like button and give me a +1 if everything is working fine, and then I'll share my screen as well. All right, so I'm sharing my screen now. All right. So I think today's problem is easy. That is why not many people are there. Right. So let us quickly start discussing this particular problem as well. Hi, Mau as well. So basically, this is a very popular problem. Okay, and this problem is known as next greater element. If you have solved this problem, you can give me a +1. Right. I hope that many of you must have solved this problem. Next greater element to the right, you can say. Okay. Like it is also known as like something like NGR in abbreviation. Next greater element to the right. Okay. Now, if let's say we have been given this array, so given this array of size n having distinct elements, the task is to find the next greater element for every element in the array in the order of their appearance in the array. So the next greater element of an element is the nearest element on the right side that is greater than the current ith element. Okay. So if there exists no such element, then you have to return -1 for that position, and ultimately you have to return this array, right? So let's say if we have 1, right? Let's say we have 1, 3. Then after that we have something like 2, 4. Let's say after that we have 2, then we have 4. Okay. If we have this particular array with us, so what can be done here? Like what can be done? So basically, if I will look for this array, so for this particular element 1, what is the element that is just greater than this element on the right side? Can I say that it is nothing but 3? Right, I can say that it is nothing but 3. For 1, it is nothing but 3. For this element 3, which is the element in the right side that is just greater than 3? The very first element in the right side that is just greater than 3. So I can say that it is nothing but 4. Okay. Now if I will look for this element, for this 2, which is the element on the right side that is just greater, so it is nothing but 4 here. Right. Now after that, if I will move forward, so for this particular element 4, which is the element that is just greater towards the right side, just greater than 4, no element, so please write -1. Right. So the output is 3, 4, 4, -1. Okay. Is this point clear? Please give me a +1, guys, if you are clear with this thing, that the output is 3, 4, 4, -1. Is it clear to everyone? Please give me a +1 and hit the like button as well, then I'll proceed further. Is it clear to everyone, guys? Is it clear? Okay, right. Now this is the case. Okay, now let's have a look at the next test case as well. So the next test case says that if let's say we have been given 6, 8, 0, and then we have what 1, then we have 3. All right, now let's say if we have this particular element with us. Okay, so for 6, towards the right side, which is the element that is just greater than it? 8. Right. For 8, is there any element on the right side that is just greater than it? No. So I'll write -1 for it. Okay. For 0, on the right side, which is the element that is just greater than it? 1. Right. After that, for 1, which is the element on the right side that is just greater than it? It is nothing but 3. For 3, which is the element that is just greater than it on the right side? -1. Okay. So you can see that overall answer is 8 -1, 1, 3 -1. Okay. It is nothing but 8 -1, 1, 3 -1. Is this point clear to everyone? Please write clear in the chat if you are clear with this basic thing till now. Is everyone clear till this point with the test cases? Is everyone clear with the test cases? Okay. So how can I do this, right? So if I'll talk about a brute force approach, okay, if I'll talk about a brute force approach, so what I can say is like I can simply say that okay, I will have, let's say I start from 0, okay, I is lesser than n, and then I'll do an I plus plus. Okay. Now what I will do is let's say for let's say something like j is there. So let's say j starts from the right side. So j starts from I plus 1. Okay, j is lesser than n, and then I'll do a j plus plus, right? And if I find any jth element that is greater than the ith element, right? So this jth element will be my next greater element, right? So for this, let's say I have this answer vector that is for n. Okay, so what I will do is let's say I'll say that okay, answer for this ith element will be for this ith element, the next ith element will be nothing but this jth element, right? A of j, right? And let's say if then after that I'll break from here if it does not exist. So initially, let's say I'm marking everybody as -1. Is that clear to everyone? Like this is a brute force approach that we can follow. Overall, is it clear? Order of n loop for every ith element, And then for every ith element, we are running from I plus 1 till end. And if there is any jth element such that it is greater than this ith element, in that case, we will simply store this thing, right? For the ith element, initially we are marking every uh, answer as -1, right? For every index. And then if there is a jth element that is greater than the ith element towards the right side, then I'll say that for this ith element, this jth element is the just greater element, is the next greater element on the right side, and then I'll break from here. So order of n loop for this also. So overall it will be order of n square. Is this point clear to everyone? Please tell me, and then I'll proceed further as well. Is it clear to everyone? Please give me a quick +1 and hit the like button as well if you are clear till this point, and then I'll proceed further as well. Okay. All right. So I think that everybody is pretty much clear with this approach, right? So it's nothing but order of n square. Now, can I do something better than this? Yes, definitely I can do something better than this, obviously. So this is a category of problems in which you need to understand one more thing here. What is the thing that you need to understand, right? So if I'll talk about this particular problem right here. So if I will say, like if I will see here, right? So let's say if I'm talking about this particular scenario right here. Okay. So instead of doing this, what can I do? Like I can have an alternative approach to this, right? Because if you will see for this element, I'm iterate, like see for what is happening. For this particular element, I'm iterating through this whole array. Then for this element, I'm iterating through this whole array. For this element, I'm iterating through the rest of the array, which is taking a lot of time. Okay. So instead of that, what we can do is like we can simply say that we can start traversing from the left side. Okay. Like sorry, right side. We can traverse from this side. Okay. And what we can do is we can maintain a stack with us, right? We can do what? We can start traversing from the right side. So please write R in the chat. Okay. We can start traversing from the right side. So please write R in the chat. In such kind of situations, what we can do is we can traverse in opposite direction. Okay. Because what will happen for like basically when I'm at this guy, na, so basically what I will do is like, can I say that? Like, what is the reason, right? First of all, what is the reason? What is the reason or what is the feeling behind doing this, right? What is the feeling behind doing this, right? So I want to say one thing I want to say one thing for all of you, right? Let's say if this element is 8, okay, if this is the element, right? So can I say that if let's say if I'm looking from this side, right? Okay, let's say if I'm looking from the right side, if I'm iterating from the right side, okay. So let's say first of all I'll see 3, okay, then I'll see 1, then I'll see 0. Okay. So first of all I'll want to compare 8 with let's say 0. Okay. Then I'll want to compare 8 with 1. Okay. Then I'll want to compare 8 with 3. Correct? If let's say if I'm iterating from the right side, if you will observe, let's say if I'm iterating from the right side, okay. So the first element that I will see is 3. Okay. Then the next element that I will see is 1. Okay. Then the next element I'll see is 0. Correct? This is the scenario. Let's take this example. If you're moving from right to left, okay. If you're moving from right to left, so first of all you will see 3, okay, then you will see 1 and then you will see 0. But can I say that you will want that, okay, 8 should be compared first of all with 0. Okay, 8 should be first of all compared with this guy 0, right? You will want this thing. Then you will want that, okay, 8 should be compared with this guy 1, right? Let's say. Then after that you will want that, okay, 8 should be compared with this guy 3. Okay, is that clear to everyone? So if I'm moving from the right side, okay, if I'm moving from the right side, so can I say that the last element that I'm looking at, it should be compared first. Okay, so last in first out, is that clear to everyone? The last element that is coming here, right? The last guy that is coming here, I should compare it first. So last in first out concept. Is it clear to everyone? Is it clear to everyone? Please tell me, guys, and hit the like button as well if you're clear to this point. Does it make a little bit of sense? Please write clear in the chat. Okay. If let's say if I'm moving from the right side, so what I want, like if I'm moving from the right side, okay, so first of all I'll see 3, then I'll see 1, then I'll see 0. Okay. So what I'm expecting is that, like first of all I'll compare with 0, okay, then I'll compare with 1, then I'll compare with 3. So basically the last element that I'm getting if I'm moving from right to left, so the last element that I'm getting, I want to compare with that, then this and then this. So last and first out, right? So please write stack in the chat. Okay, stack is one such data structure that can help me to implement this last and first out concept. Is that clear to everyone? Please tell me, guys. Is that clear to everyone till this point? Okay, everyone is clear with this particular thing. Please let me know. I hope that all of you are clear till this point. All right. So what we can do is we'll have a stack data structure with all of us. Okay. Now what we will do is we'll iterate from the back. So we'll iterate at this element. Okay. And we'll be maintaining an answer array. Okay. We'll maintain an answer. Right. Now if I am at this element. right? If I'm at this element. So intuition is clear. All right, great. So basically, if you will see, if I'm looking for this guy, right? If I'm at this guy, so what is the current situation of the stack? Can I say that the current situation of the stack is that the stack is empty? Yes. Okay. Like, see, for this I when my ith element is this guy, right? When my ith element is this guy, last element 3. So in that case, my stack is empty, right? So if my stack is empty, so it indicates indirectly that there is nobody towards the right side. Okay, basically there is nobody greater than me towards the right side. So in that case, can I say that I'll insert -1? Please write -1 in the chat. Is it clear to everyone? So for this particular element, I'll insert, like, I'll write -1 here. Clear with this, everyone? Please hit the like button and give me a +1 if you're clear to this point. So basically what I'll do is I'll put a -1. So please write -1. Everyone can write -1 in the chat. Okay. So since this array is empty, right? So I will check, and since this array is empty, so what I will simply do is I'll push this I'll put this -1 inside the array. Okay. Now after that, what I'll do is I'll put 3 inside the stack, right? So after that, what I'll do is I'll put this particular element, that is 3, inside this stack. Okay. So let's take a brighter color compared to this one. Okay, so let's take this one, right? So I'll put 3 here. All right. After that, what will happen? I'll move to the next element, right? So I'll move to this guy. Okay. Now this is the element 1. Okay, this is the element 1. Now basically indirectly I want to compare 1 with this guy, then with this guy, right? So basically stack will help me in doing that. Right. So now can I say that the ith element is 1? Okay, like, is the ith element, like, see, stack is not empty, right? Stack is not empty. So is the ith element lesser than the stack top? What do you think? Is the ith element lesser than the top element of the stack? Yes. Yes, the ith element is lesser than the top element of the stack, right? So the top element is 3, so that means 3 is the next greater element for 1. So I'll insert the top element of the stack here. Is that clear? Please write 3 in the chat. Is that clear to everyone? I'll put 3, like, inside this answer, and then I'll push 1 here. Okay, so basically what I'll do is I'll push 1 inside the stack as well. Okay, after that I'll move to this guy. Right. Now can I say that I have a feeling that, okay, this 0 should be compared with this guy, and then after that, if required, then with this guy. Right. So again, stack is helping me with that approach. So now I check, okay, this is the ith element, right? This is a of I, right? And this is the top of the stack. So is the top of the stack, like, is a of I lesser than top of the stack? What do you think, guys? What do you think? Is the top element of the stack greater than the ith element? Yes. Yes. So that is why I'll put 1 here, right? Because for 3, the current top element is 1. Sorry, for this element 0, the current top element is 1, which is greater than it, so that means it is the next great element. So please write 1 in the chat. Okay, that is why I'm putting 1 inside the answer. Is that clear to everyone? Please tell me, guys. Is that clear to everyone? Okay, is that clear? And then I'll do what? Then I'll put 0 here. All right, what I'll do is after that I'll put 0 here. Now since I have put 0, so what will happen? I'll move forward from here on, and now I move to this particular element. Okay, now I am moving to this particular element. Now since I move to this particular element, right? So what is the scenario? Like, this is the ith element. This is the ith element ai, right? So is the ith, like, can I say that like the ith element, like, is not lesser than the top of the stack, right? Can I say that the ith element is greater or equal to stack top? What do you think, guys? Like, can I say that the ith element, like, right now, the ith element that I'm having 8, it is greater than equal to the stack top? Yes. Please write yes in the chat, right? And hit the like button, guys, if you are clear till this point. Now can I say that the ith element is greater than equal to the stack top? Definitely yes. Okay, if this is the case, right? So I'll remove this element. Okay, because if I check with this guy, so if it is not greater than me, so I'll check for the next guy, so I need to pop this guy out. Okay, then after that I'll check, is the ith element now greater than the top element of the stack? No, it's not. Is it greater equal to? Yes, so I'll pop this out as well. Okay, because now after checking this with this with this, now I'll check with this, right? So what will happen here? After that, I'll have 3. So is 8 greater than 3 as well? Yes, it is. So in that case, I'll remove 3 as well. And now the stack becomes empty. So since the stack is empty, so for 8, I'll insert -1 inside the answer. Please write -1, everyone, in the chat, if everyone is clear with this. Is everyone clear till this point? Please tell me. And hit the like button, guys, if you're clear till this point, right? Okay. Now after that, what will happen? I'll move to this guy, right? I'll move to this guy. But I'll still tell you one more thing. Okay, I'll still, like, you can write -1, everyone. Now after that, I'll still tell you one more thing. Okay, so after that, 8 will be pushed inside this, right? And what will happen here is, if you will observe, after 8 has been pushed here, so after that, this element 6 is there, right? So this is the ith element. So is the ith element lesser than the stack top? Yes, it is lesser than the stack top, right? If it is lesser than the stack top, so that means I'll put 8 here. Is that clear to everyone? Right. Okay, so this is the final answer that I have developed. But should I return it in this way? No, because if you will see, can I see that the answer is in reverse order, right? Because I am storing this for this, this is the result, this guy is the result. For this guy is the result. For this guy is the result. For this guy, this is the result. Okay, so can I say that the uh, like result is stored in the reverse fashion, right? So ultimately, what I'll do is I'll reverse this answer, right? I'll reverse this answer, okay, which will now become as 8 comma minus 1 comma 1 comma 3 comma minus 1, okay, and then I will return it. Is that clear to everyone? Because it is storing the answer from right to left, okay, but actually I need to return the answer from left to right. All right, so that is why what I will do is I'll simply reverse it. Is that clear to everyone? Please write rev in the chat if you are clear with this thing, guys. Till this point, is everyone clear with this? Is everyone clear till this point? Please write yes in the chat if you are clear with this point. So that is why, since the answer is stored from right to left index, so that is why I need to reverse it now. Okay. Now there are two things in this problem that I want to say. Right. Now from here on, like I will first of all write the code. Okay, and then I will write one more thing. Right. I will write one more thing about the intuition. Right. One more thing about intuition of the algorithm. Okay. So first of all, please write code in the chat. Okay. First of all, what I will do is now I'll discuss the code. Okay. I'll write down the code. Okay. And we'll get it accepted. I'll write down the code. We'll get it accepted. And after that, I'll discuss one more intuition for this, right? Like one more very important observation, you can say, right? One more very important observation. Please write +1 in the chat, and then I'll proceed further and hit the like button as well. Okay. I'm again saying hit the like button, and please give me a +1 so that I can proceed further with the code part, and then I'll give you one more intuition about this algorithm. Okay, can we proceed further, guys? I hope that we can. All right, so please remember that I'll be discussing the code. First of all, I'll be discussing the code, and then I'll share one more observation with all of you, like why this approach works. Okay, so what I will be doing here is, if you will see this part, right? So what I will be doing here is, let's say I'll have a stack with me. So let's say stack will be containing long. Okay, let's name it as st, and I'll have a vector. Okay, let's name it as long. Basically, this is array list in Java, and let's name it as answer. Now what I will do is I'll say that, okay, for int I starts from n minus 1 from the end of the array. I is greater. Sorry, I starts from n minus 1. Okay, and let's write it as n minus 1. I is greater equal to 0, and then we'll do an I minus minus. Okay, now what will happen here is, if like I'll say that if it happens, right, if the stack dot size is equal to 0. Okay, if for the current ith element the stack size is 0, right, if the stack is empty, so can I say that in the answer I'll push -1? Please write yes in the chat, everyone. Right, I can simply say that in that case, if there is nobody inside the stack, so that means there is no next graded element towards the right side for this index. So that is why I'm inserting -1. Is that clear? Is that clear? Otherwise, I'll say that, okay, else if the stack size, right, if it is greater than 0, right, if the stack size is greater than 0, and the current top element of the stack, if the stack size is greater than 0, then only I can iterate for the top element. Okay, if the stack size is greater than 0 and the top element is greater than the ith element, right, and the top element is greater than array of I, if and the top element is greater than array of I, right, so in that case I'll say that, okay, for this ith element it is the top element, right? So that is why what I will do is I'll simply say that I'll push it. So answer dot push back st dot top. Is that clear to everyone, guys? Please tell me if the stack size is not empty. So if the stack is having something and the top element of the stack is greater than the ith element, so that means for the ith element, the current top element is the next greater element of for it. So I'll push it. Okay. Otherwise, what will I say? Like else if it happens that the stack size, let's say, is greater than 0. All right. And the stack top is lesser than equal to arrow 5. If it is lesser than equal to arrow 5. Right. So can I say that I'm repeatedly checking, right? If you will observe one thing, so just give me a second. If you will observe one thing in this particular portion, let's say if I write this internal part, so let's say this is 680. Okay, and then 1 2, let's say this is the part. So let's say if I am currently standing at this particular element, that is nothing but 8. Okay, and let us say that 0 1 and 2 are already inserted. So now can I say that for this element, right? So let me change this color. Right, so can I say that for this particular element 8, right, for this particular element a of I will repeatedly check, right? I'll repeatedly check, right? So I'm checking. So if I am at this ith element, so this ith element, okay, it is what? It is greater than equal to the stack top, right? It is greater equal to the stack top, right? So this ith element is greater equal to the stack top, right? If that is the case, so in that case, can I say that? Can I say that? I'll repeatedly check, right? So I'll pop this guy out, right? But do I need to pop only one guy out? No, because if you will see now, so again the top element is what? Like again the top element is lesser, like basically the ith element is greater equal to the top element again. So I'll again pop it out, again pop it out, right? So please write loop in the chat. Can I say that I need a kind of loop? I need a kind of loop, that okay, like I need to check it repetitively. Please write rep in the chat. That is, I need repetitions of this algorithm, or I need a loop to check again and again, right? Is that clear to everyone? Right, so I need to say that while the stack size, okay, while the stack size is greater than 0, right, and the stack top right, and the stack top is what? Like while the stack size is greater than 0 and the stack top is lesser than equal to arrow 5, right, is lesser than equal to arrow 5, then I will do what? In that case, I'll keep on popping it out. Okay, in that case, I'll keep on popping it out. Is that clear to everyone? That I'll check that, okay, this is the top guy. So is it lesser than equal to the ith element? Yes. So I'll pop it out, right? I'll pop it out. Then again, I'll check that, okay, if this is now this is the top, the stack is not empty. This is the new top. Is it lesser equal to the ith element? Yes. So let's pop it out, right? Then again, I'll check that, okay, now this is the ith element. Is it lesser than equal to the ith, is the current top element of the stack lesser than equal to the ith element? Yes. So I'll pop it out. Okay, this is the condition, right? Is that clear to everyone? Is that clear to everyone? Now there can be two circumstances when I'll come out of this loop, right? So see, can I say that in this case the stack becomes empty, right? So there can be two circumstances when I can come out of this loop, right? Either either the stack size, okay, becomes empty, right? Yes or no, right? Either the stack becomes empty, right? Either the stack size becomes empty, right? Either there is nothing inside the stack, as you can see here. If there is nothing, right? Are you getting my point, guys? If there is nothing inside the stack, right, so then I'll say that, okay, there is no next. If there is nothing inside the stack, so for this guy there is no element on the right side that is greater than it, so that is why I'll put -1 here. Is that clear? Right, is that clear to everyone, guys? Please tell me, please tell me. Please write yes in the chat. Okay, so while the stack size, right, while the stack size is greater than 0 and the current stack top is lesser than equal to array of I, right, so in that case I need to do what? I need to continuously keep on popping it out. Right. Now please write 2 in the chat. There are two conditions when I'll come out of this while loop. Okay. Are you getting this point, guys? There are two conditions when I will come out of this while loop. There are only two conditions when I'll come out of this while loop. Right. The first condition is that if the stack becomes empty, right? So if the stack size, right, if the stack size is equal to 0, if the stack becomes empty, then this means that for the ith element there is no next greater element, right? So that is why to this towards the right side. So in that case, I'll push -1. Please write -1 in the chat. Is that clear to everyone? That this will mean that, okay, if this if this loop terminates, so it might terminate because the stack might become empty. So if the stack size becomes 0, right? So in that case, I'll push -1. That, okay, there is no next data element for me, right? Now, what is the other circumstance? Let's say that if the array looked like this, let's say if it was like this, okay. Uh, let's say it was something like this: 0 1 2 and 9. Okay, so now let's say this was the scenario, and let's say this was the ith element. Let's say that this is ai. Right, now inside the stack we have this kind of a circumstances, let's say. Okay, so now what will happen? Like I'll check, so is the current top element great, let's say this is the stack. So is the current, I'll say that, okay, while the stack size, right, while the stack size is greater than 0 and the stack top, okay, is lesser equal to array of I. Okay, so in that case I need to pop it out, right? So is this guy lesser equal to the top element? Yes, so I'll pop it out. I'll pop this guy out. I'll pop this guy out, right? So I'll pop it out. But now if I'll see, so in this case the top element, is this top element lesser than equal to the ith element? No, please write no in the chat. Is this now this is the top element, right? This is the top element. Now is the top element lesser than equal to the ith element? No, no, right? So there are two conditions you can observe, right? Either the stack size became zero, like it became in the previous case, as you can see here. In this case, the stack size became zero, so I directly inserted -1 for this particular guy. I directly inserted -1, right? But in this case, it might happen that it might not be true, right? So in this case, basically you can see that the top element now became greater, right? So the top element now is greater. So this condition, that is stack top is lesser equal to array phi, right? This will violate. Okay, so that is why this while loop will terminate. So if like after coming out of this while loop, right? If it happens that the stack size is equal to zero, in that case I'm inserting -1, right? Otherwise, if that is not the case, so in that case the top element that is there, it is greater than the ith element. So that is why the top element will be the next greater element in the array towards the right side for the ith element. So I'll push the stack top. Is that clear to everyone? Please tell me. Is this point clear to everyone? Is this point clear? And after doing this, after running the if and else if all the parts, after doing the process, okay, after the process is done, right? So after that, what will I do? I'll insert the ith element inside the stack. So I'll say that okay, stack dot push RFI, right? That is what I will push. Okay, that is what I am going to be push. And after this, in the end, what will we do? So in the end, we'll simply say that reverse the answer dot begin comma answer dot end. Okay, this is what I will do. So we'll reverse it because currently it is storing the answer from right to left index. Okay, but that is something which I don't want. I don't want to store the answers from right to left. I want to store the answer from index left to right. So that is why I'm reversing it. And in the end, I'll simply return this answer. Okay, is it clear to everyone? Is it clear to everyone, guys? Okay, so you can see that it works for the samples. Now let's try and quickly submit it and then we'll discuss further one more thing that I want to discuss with all of you. Okay, so I think it will get accepted as well. Yes, it does get accepted. So please write AC in the chat, guys, and then I'll discuss something more with you. Please quickly write AC in the chat. Like, let's quickly write AC in the chat and then I'll discuss one more thing with all of you. Okay, please write AC in the chat and now I'll discuss one more observation, right? There's one more very unique observation that you need to have, right? There's one more very unique observation that you need to have. Now, what is that observation, right? Let us say, let us say that if I talk about this circumstance, let's say if I have a array, let's say it's something like, let's say it's something like 8. Then after that, I have something like, let's say 6, okay, 1, okay, let's say 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's say this is the circumstances. Okay, and let's say 4, like let's say what has happened is I'm currently standing at this index. So let us say for that what is happening, 4 is inserted, 3 is inserted already, 2 is inserted, and 1 is already inserted inside this array, right? So now what is happening? What is happening? See, in this case, can I say that now this element is 6, right? So is the top element, like, tell me Mau and tell me Rishit, everyone. Now can I say that the top element, right, can I say that the top element is lesser than the ith element? Yes, this is array of I, right? This is the ith element. So can I say that the top element is lesser than the ith element? So I'll pop this guy out. Okay, so I'll pop this guy out. Understand this thing? Okay, now can I say that again the top element is lesser than the ith element? Okay, so I'll pop this out again. Please write yes in the chat. Correct, guys? That is what I will do. Now again, if I'll see for this case, right? So what is happening for this for this guy also? If I will see, so again the top element is what, less, it is lesser than the ith element, right? So I'm removing it again. Okay, now after that what will happen? I'll say that okay, now this guy is there, right? So again the top element is lesser, so I'll again remove it. Okay, so what is happening? What is happening? If you will see, so basically for this guy, for this element, I'll say that okay, there is no next greater element for it, so I'll write -1 here. Okay, for this guy I'll have -1. But what is happening? I have saved myself, right? I have saved a lot of irrelevant comparison, right? Irrelevant, just give me a second. Okay, I've saved a lot of irrelevant comparisons, right? Irrelevant comparison, right? Comparison for 8. right? A lot of irrelevant comparison for 8, because see, if 1 is not greater than 9, right? If see if sorry if 1 is not greater than 6, if 1 is not the next greater element for 6, okay, for 6, if 1 is not the next greater element, so I'm eliminating it. If 2 is not the next greater element, if 3 is not the next greater element, okay, if 4 is not the next greater element for 6, so how can I expect, right? So are you getting this point, that after that what will happen, I'll insert 6 inside the stack and I'll come at 8, okay. So when I'm coming at 8, so do I need to check, like, see, when I'm coming at 8, are you getting my point, guys? When I'm coming at 8, when I come at this guy 8, okay, when I come at this guy 8, so do I even, like, do I want to check it with, like, see, I will check it with this guy, let's say, but do I, like, but if 1 is not greater than, like, 6, if 2 is not greater than 6, if 3 is not greater than 6, if 4 is not greater than 6, right? So if this guy is not greater, so do I want to check 8 with 1, like, do I want to check if 1, 2, or 3, or 4 is greater than 8? No, please write no in the chat. Okay. No, I don't want to check. Do I want to, like, see, let us say that after that, what I'll do is, if I'll check 8 with 6, so 8, like current top element is 6, right? Current top element of the stack is 6, right? Current top element of the stack is 6. So I'll say that, okay, let us remove it. Okay, let us remove it from the stack. Now, after that, like, if this guy, right? If if this guy 6 was there and 1 was not greater than 6, 2 was not greater than 6, 3 was not greater than 6, 4 was not greater than 6, and 6 is not greater than 8, so how can these people be greater? How can these people even think of comparing them with 8? Are you getting my point? Right. So why do you even want to compare 8 with 1? Why do you want to compare with 8 with 2? Why do you even want to compare 8 with 3? Why do you want to compare 8 with 4? Is that clear? Is that clear? That is why currently the stack is empty, because you don't want to compare this with this guy, with this guy, with this guy, with this guy, right? That's very irrelevant for you. Okay. So that is why you are saving a lot of irrelevant comparisons. Is that clear? Please write yes in the chat, or please write OB in the chat. Like, OP also you can write observation. OP. Is that clear? Is that clear? That is how you are saving a lot of time. Like, you are saving a lot of irrelevant comparisons for 8. This is an example. Like, in this example you can see that what you are doing is you are saving a lot of irrelevant comparisons for this element 8, because for this guy 8, 6 will be there. Okay. So if I will see that, okay, 8 is 8, like, is 8 greater than 6? Yes. So that means 6 is not the next greater element. Okay. So I'm removing it, then my stack becomes empty, right? Why it becomes empty? Because if you will see, if 6 was an element, and for 6, 1 was not the greater element, 2 was also not the next greater element, 3 was also not, 4 was also not, so they are not there inside the stack anymore. Because if 8 is greater than 6, right? So in that case, like, do I even want to check with 1, 2, 3, 4? No, because 6 has already eliminated these people, right? If 6 is not greater than 8, so how can the elements that are lesser than 6 even think of being greater than 8? Right. So what is the point of comparison? There is no point in comparison, so that is why they are already eliminated. So that is why we are saving a lot of irrelevant comparison, right? So the idea for this approach is nothing but save a lot of irrelevant comparison, right? Is that clear? Please write yes in the chat or +1 in the chat if you have understood this very important idea for this particular problem, because this is the most important thing for this problem. Okay. Mau, have you understood it? Rishit and everyone, please write yes, clear. I hope if it is something new, you can write new in the chat as well. I hope that this was a good observation for all of you. Okay. All right. So basically, as I said, now if you will see, so the thing is that every element, okay, every element. So basically, what's the space complexity? So every element, like every element of the array is inserted inside the stack. Okay, exactly once, right? Exactly once, right? And it is popped one time, right? Every element is inserted exactly once inside the stack and popped exactly once, right? So that is why overall this time complexity for the stack will be order of n. And since I'm running a loop from right to left, so that will be order of n as well. So overall time complexity will be order of n. And in the worst case, what will happen? In the worst case, all the n elements are there inside the stack. So the space complexity is going to be order of n. Is this point clear to everyone? Please give me a +1, and then I can end the session as well, because I hope that I have conveyed my logic with everyone. Okay, so basically stack will help you to this approach will help you to remove a lot of irrelevant comparisons for yourself. All right. Okay, so please make sure to hit like, okay, guys. If you have understood it till the end, so make sure to hit the like button if you haven't already, and make sure to share it with your friends if you are doing peer coding, okay, group coding, and make sure to comment down understood as well. If you have learned something new after this video is over, you can comment down understood as well, okay. And that's it for today. Make sure to subscribe to our channel, that is Geeks for Geeks Practice, and I'll see you in another problem of the day. Okay, so I hope that you enjoyed this problem. This problem was asked in a lot of companies, like I think it was asked in Flipkart, Amazon, Adobe, and many other companies. So make sure to keep practicing the problem of the day. I'll see you on another day. Till then, good night, take care, and keep coding, guys. Keep hustling, keep the effort, keep up the good work. Don't worry about the results. Don't worry about what is happening in the industry as of now. Just be patient and be consistent as well. Thank you and good night. I'll see you in another live. Till then, take care. Thank you, everyone.